So, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I had been on 60 milligrams of strattera for over a month, going on 2 months now, and I just came off it last week. I stopped taking it and I switched over to a stimulant. Um, so, as of Friday, I officially started taking 10 milligrams of ritalin instead of the strattera. So I'm no longer taking the strattera. And the reason for that is because the nausea that came along with the strattera for me, it was getting worse as time went on. And I did feel some improvement in my ability to focus. And I talked about that in the previous video. It was about 3 or 4 weeks into taking strattera when I started to see some improvement. But like I said, the nausea was just getting worse. So I did talk to my psychiatrist about that, and also the fact that I'm trying to learn to drive, and I don't think that the improvement in focus is really enough from the Strattera alone to help me focus while I'm driving. It's very difficult to kind of explain when I'm getting driving lessons from my sister, my mom, or whomever, and I'm trying to drive somewhere. I feel kind of disconnected from the whole experience. It's like, yes, I'm there, but I'm disconnected. I'm not really there. I can kind of focus on trying to keep the wheel straight and not crash into other cars. But when it comes to maneuvering and doing smaller things, like if I'm going to shift lanes, looking over my shoulder, switching the blinker on, all of that, I tend to forget. And my anxiety makes it worse because I'm just kind of gripping onto the steering wheel, trying to focus on not crashing into other cars. And um, I'm very much aware of how anxious I'm feeling every time that I am behind the wheel. And so it's just a whole mess of things. But I was talking to my provider about that. And she said, well, since the Strattera doesn't seem to be helping your lack of focus, your inattentiveness as much as you think it should be, and since it is causing nausea, why don't we try a stimulant? Um, and I was kind of hesitant to go to try a stimulant medication just because there's so much stigma associated with it and the possibility of addiction and whatnot. But I know that it's a controlled substance, and as long as we take it that the way that is prescribed, and it's keep checking in with the provider and whatnot, that it should be fine. I understand that Ritalin and Adderall, I mean, really make a difference for a lot of people with ADHD. So I decided to go ahead and give it a try, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to take it yesterday, and I still haven't taken it today either. I don't know what it is. I just think that it's been difficult for me since I got my CO2 done on my face. I got the laser last week, and I was recovering from that, and it's been kind of difficult for me to keep track of all the things that I need to do. But anyway, impulsivity. Impulsivity is a it's it's one of the symptoms of ADHD. And I get certain times where I'm more impulsive than other times, usually like a couple of times a year. And what this looks like for me, at least recently, I remember last year, uh, actually the year before when I was at a community college, I just got this rush of like impulsivity where I just wanted to hurry up and get my classes done at the community college so that I could transfer to university. So I signed up for like 6 or 7 classes. I think it was 6 classes in one semester. And that was pretty impulsive of me to do because I was struggling a lot throughout that semester. I think I got like a C in one of my classes, and I think I ended up dropping or withdrawing from another class because it was just so much work and so much to keep up with. But in the moment, I got like this adrenaline rush and like an impulsive, like, I really don't know how to explain it. Like, I felt like if I registered for these 6 or 7 classes, that I could take it on. that I could focus enough to, you know, deal with it. And I felt like I was going to be okay. And I just took on too much at one time. And so that's kind of like what impulsivity looks like for me some of the time. And so recently, I started looking into what grad schools I will be applying to. I am now I'm gonna about to start my senior year in 2 weeks at the university, and I'm a communication sciences and disorders undergrad because my goal is to become a speech therapist. And in order to do that, in order to become an SLP or speech language pathologist, I do have to go to grad school and get a master's degree in speech language pathology. However, the admission process is very, very competitive for SLP grad school. And one of the things that I've heard my professors say over and over again is to not be discouraged if we don't get into grad school the first time around. A lot of people don't get in the first time. But then that means you have to take a year off of your education if you don't get into grad school and find something else to do while you wait for that year to pass so that you can apply again. And I took a lot of child development classes when I was at community college because it's one of my main interests. And I think I need about 4 more classes to complete an associate's degree in child development, which would qualify me to become a preschool teacher. So what I was thinking is, although my ultimate goal is to become a speech language pathologist, what am I going to do if I don't get into grad school the first time around? I don't want to just take a year off and do nothing. If I don't get in, it's because I'm not competitive enough, because I don't have enough experience with kids or whatnot. So I figured that I could take that year and maybe teach preschool for a year and then try reapplying to grad school again. Um, and so I am signed up to start my senior semester at my university in 2 weeks, and I'm signed up for a full-time course load, so for 4 classes. And I was thinking the other day, why don't I sign up for those 4 classes I need to complete my child development degree at a community college? And I could take those 8 classes at the same time together so that I have a backup plan, a plan B in case I don't end up getting into grad school. So then I kind of stopped myself and I kind of realized, okay, I'm being impulsive again. And so that was kind of a sign for me that the strattera wasn't really doing much for the impulsivity. And not only that, but it was making me nauseous. And it wasn't, I saw some improvement in my focus, but not really enough. And so I brought that up to my psychiatrist. I didn't bring up the fact that I was about to sign up for 8 classes, 4 classes at a community college and 4 classes at my university. I actually registered for the 4 classes at the community college, but then I dropped them. I withdrew from them before the classes started because I realized it was really insane. It's insane of me to think that I can take on 2 full-time class loads and keep my sanity and make enough time for myself and for my son and for my home business and everything else that I still have to do. But when I get those impulses, when I'm about to do something impulsive, for some reason in the moment, it feels like it's doable, like it feels like it's okay, and it feels like, it's no big deal. But I've learned from past mistakes that what ends up happening is I just end up burning myself out, stressing out, dropping out of classes, or my grades suffer. So I'm glad that I kind of caught myself in the moment and said, okay, I am not going to do this. And my medication, I don't think it's working as well as it should be. And so that's why the psychiatrist told me to stop taking strattera, and then she put me on ritalin. And the first 2 days that I took it, I did notice almost an immediate improvement in my ability to focus, although I have not tried driving since I started taking it. But yeah, I've just been kind of all over the place lately. So here's to hoping that Ritalin will help with that. And also, I'm also taking 10 milligrams of trintellix for anxiety and depression. I started that about a month ago, and I'm just now starting to notice a little bit of an improvement in my mood. And I noticed it uh, even more so on the day that I stopped taking strattera. So I wonder if strattera was kind of numbing out some of the effects of the trintellix, because now that I'm taking it, I can kind of see that my mood has actually improved. But anyway, I guess I'll be back with another update next week or eventually.